I basically keep all of my food inside of this tech pack, inside of my big pack. And when I'm not cooking or doing anything with food, I like to try to put this pack up somewhere fairly high where it's not being a magnet for things that might be hungry in the area. So I just kind of keep it up in the tree. It's up about, I don't know, 6 feet in the air. Okay, now it's time. I moved my drop cloth. I'm getting some of these small sticks. I'm getting some firewood together. I'm going to take my machete. I'm just going to dig a small little hole, nothing too crazy. This is where my fire is going to go. You want to make sure that your ridge line, that your fire is outside of your ridge line. You don't want it like underneath your tent. So it doesn't have to be like some big old significant hole or anything. You just want to have a little place to contain your fire. And I'm not going to make a very, very big fire. I'm just going to make something small that I can do a little bit of cooking over. Just something that I can develop some coals with. Once I get some coals, I'm going to put my grid over there. Like that. And that's going to be my cooking for the night. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm starting to prep my area to be ready for fire. So first thing I like to do is take a few small sticks, and I like to lay them down to make like a small bed to try to keep the fire out of the dirt. Okay, it's not going to matter too much once the fire gets going, but to get it started, I just need this little bitty barrier. Okay. Now I have this stick right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm laying it straight across, and I have some small stuff in my hands. I'm just going to put that small stuff right on top. Now, normally I would say that you have to get all of your stuff together and have a big old pile of stuff before you throw that spark, and that's because normally wood and fuel and stuff like that might be a little bit harder to find. But this particular place where I chose to set up my camp, there's a lot of fuel, a lot of small stuff, and it's all very close. So I'm going to go ahead and start my fire without having all that stuff first. Okay, I have a few more things. I found these, and what these are is these are pine sap. I'm going to set that on the top, and I'm going to reposition my toilet paper right underneath that. And I also found some of these old weeds. I'm going to use a little bit of this too. It's very small, and I think it'll light pretty good. Watch out, you might want to watch out. She'll move. If it gets hot enough, she'll move. Okay, there's my spark. You better move. Yeah, there's fire there, huh? I would never do nothing to hurt my dog. But she definitely has to learn that the campfire is going to be here. And that I'm not going to move the whole camp just for her. So this is just like I said, it's wood sap. Once it gets going, it'll make a nice little fire. I'm just putting all that stuff on there just to get this thing going. Got that wood sap. It's going to be a nice fire here pretty soon. That wood sap takes off pretty well. Okay everybody, I have 3 pieces of wood here, about the size of my thumb or just a little bit fatter than that, and I have a little bit of paracord. I'm going to make just a very quick, no frills, just very quick. I'm going to make a tripod so that I can hang some of my cooking stuff over the fire. So the first thing I want to do is I want to line these things up, and I want to make 3 lashings around. 1, 2, 3. From here I want to make an overhand, or excuse me, a square knot right here. And this doesn't have to be gorilla tight right now. Now I want to take this long end and I want to go in between the layers 3 times. 1 on the first one. This is the ones that need to be tight. 2. 3. And let's go one more. 3. Now let's come over to the other side. 1. Tighten it up. 2. Hope you can see this. Tighten it up a little bit. And 3. Now we go back around 2 more times. 1, 2. And I'm going to go in and do 1 wrap on each side, maybe 2. I'm just kind of, there's not really any specific recipe as far as how many wraps and all that. I'm just kind of looking at how much paracord I got left in my hand, and I'm kind of determining it based on that. Okay, now I have this back section right here. This is kind of what we're looking at. Got this thing lashed together. Nothing crazy. Normally I would say find some straighter wood and stuff like that, but to be honest, it's starting to get a little dark, and not dark, but daylight's running out, and I didn't really want to spend all afternoon looking for wood. Now, I made a little square knot. Now, I have a little bit of a tail left right here. I'm going to use this to make a hook. Okay, I have the basic setup ready, and now I want to join these 2 pieces of cord together, okay, because this tail isn't long enough to hang my pot. So I'm going to do the single overhand, or excuse me, fisherman's knot. 1. No need to do a double. 2. And just pull them together. Now I have plenty of material down here in the middle to hang my pot. And what I'm going to hang is not actually going to be my pot, it's going to be my water bottle. Remember, we got some water from that water hole and we need to purify it. Now, I'm not going to hang it by this holder because that's plastic, obviously, and I don't want to burn it. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to take this rope. Now let me come a little closer. I've got to kind of determine about how high I want it to be. Now when you're making your determination as far as how high you want it, I always recommend going a little lower than you actually need. So there's a little lip on this bottle. You see that up there? What I want to do is I want to hold that lip. So I'm going to use a clove hitch. So I have 1 overhand turn. See that? Just like so. And then I'm going to make one in the opposite direction so that both ends are like this. Hope you can see that. And both of these are on top. So now I'm going to fold this thing together so that they're hanging out of the bottom. This is the part that I'm going to use to bite my pot, my bottle. Now any excess cord, I'm just going to run it back up and tie it up here. Just an overhand knot. Just a fisherman's knot. Doing it above this other knot so that it'll hold tight. Now, you're probably looking, let me show you. You're probably looking, whoa, your bottle's way loose. Well, let me back up and I'll show you how we can fix that. So the bottle's way loose. I'm going to go ahead and put this over the fire and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we have our tripod here over the fire. The bottle's way loose. Well, just take this cord and start wrapping it around one of these legs, and that'll heighten it. It'll raise it or lower it according to how high or low you want it. So from there, I can take that other water that I had from the water that I collected. I can start pouring it into my bottle, and then I'll lower it back down a little bit onto the fire to allow it to boil. And that'll purify this water. Now I've seen many tripods that are in much better condition than mine. Boy, that's full almost to the top, right to the top. That's perfect. I'm going to unwrap one loop. I want it to be just a little bit lower. Now, the cool thing about these tripods is right now you're probably looking at it and you're probably thinking the same thing I am. You're probably thinking, wow, it's not even over the fire. Well, it's easy. Just take one of the legs, just kind of move that thing wherever it needs to be. So from there, I can just wait and that water will come to a boil before you know it. So let's go take a look. Got that thing full of water. Let me stop it from swaying. It'll be boiling in no time. And that's just a real simple makeshift. Like I say, I wrap another wrap or two around there and that helps. And it puts that bottle over the fire. There's no problem putting that bottle over the fire because it's stainless steel. That's what it's designed for. And a lot of people, they buy them but they don't use them for what they're designed for. Now, I can see that the bottle needs to go to my right just a little bit, so I'm going to adjust my tripod. There it is. Look at that, right over the flames. So I'll wait for a few and take a look here shortly, and we should be boiling nice and well. Okay, there you have it. My water has come to a boil. You can notice that the paracord close around the top of the lid has gotten a little discolored, and that's from being around there, you know, with all that heat. But that's okay. No problem at all. We're just going to let that boil for about 5-10 minutes, and yeah, then we'll take it down to the creek over there, or that little water place where I got the water, and we'll put the lid on. And we'll put the whole container in there so that we can cool the water and get it where it's to a good temperature where we can drink it. Okay, we're right here, right where we got the water. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on. The bottle is still very hot, but I'm going to cool this bottle fairly quickly so the lid can go on there. It's not going to hurt anything. Just going to let it go all the way under the water. Just let it sit in there right now for a little bit. And all the polywogs that are in there, they probably think that they found a nice hot bath. Because I'm sure it warms the temperature of the water around it. There's no problem dunking it all the way. It's just simply, I'm cooling this container down. And what I'll do is I'll pull it out periodically. It's hard to do this while I'm holding the camera, but I'll pull it out periodically and I'll put my hands on the bottle and I'll test the temperature of the bottle. And I just felt it a second ago and it's still too hot. So we'll be back We'll let it sit in there for a few minutes. Okay, that's it. Here comes the bottle out of the water, back to camp. It's been sitting in there about 15 minutes. Right here you can see that I moved the position of my bed. I did this because I want to be closer to the fire. Not that it's going to be cold tonight, but that I want to be able to feed it a little bit. And that smoke that comes off of the fire will keep the bugs and mosquitoes, all those things, away from me. So that's more or less why I moved my bed. I looked up in the sky, and yes, it's cloudy, but it's not like it was earlier. So whatever storm may have been, looks like it passed. So I think I'll be fine. We spent all that time outside, but I didn't give you a view of inside. So there's my bag, all my cutting tools. Here's a little bit of fuel for the fire. And there's the fire. There's my tripod and my filming tripod. So I have a little bit of sap here, and you see the fire is smoking quite a bit right now. I'm throwing sap on it, and I'm trying to get that little bit of flame going so that I can get those that water boiling. So I'm throwing little bits of sap on there, and that's why it's smoking. It's going to take off here in a minute, and it's going to flame. Hopefully I'll catch that for you. And there's the flames. Let's take a look at this and see if this thing's not boiling yet. So we'll check it here again pretty shortly. Okay, I have a spot over here, and my dog was kind of laying right here and kicking up dust and stuff. So what I want to do is I want to try to make it so that the dog will stay away from this area and this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag some wood over here, and then that'll make the dog not want to lay here. Kind of make like a natural roadblock. They will only lay where it's comfortable. So I'm just creating this natural barrier, and it's speaking in a language that the dog clearly understands. They understand that they don't want to lay on that. And there's nothing mean about doing this. It's a very natural method. I've had dogs all my life, and it's always worked pretty well for me. So that's what we have right there. Just a little natural barrier. They're not going to want to walk all up in there, you know, unless you have a stubborn dog. But for the most part, I've found that this works really well. Keeping them where you want them. So let's go ahead and check that water. Looks like we have a good rolling boil. Let me go get my noodles. We'll be cooking soon. Another thing that I recommend, you know, we can tell that our daylight is starting to be limited. We can tell that the sun is about to go down. So I recommend that you get out some sort of light source long before you need it. Don't wait until the last minute and then decide, oh crap, you know, I need to get some kind of light out. So I'm getting everything kind of in place light wise, that way when the sun does go, and it might happen quickly, I will be prepared. So that's something that might help you. We know that the noodles don't take long to cook, so in the meantime I'm gonna go ahead and put my steak on the grill. Now you notice the part that I'm boiling the water on has flames under it, and the part with the steak does not. That's because I want to use the coals to cook the steak and not the fire. I forgot that I had this little radio in the car, so let's take a look and see how it does. Okay, these ramen noodles are all done, so I'm going to set them on a couple pieces of wood just to keep them out of the dirt. Kind of let them cool there a little bit. And the steak, I'm moving it over so it's a little closer over the coals now. I'm ready to get that steak going. There's no flames anymore, it's just coals, so it'll be good. We're almost done. You're probably wondering, what am I going to use for a plate? Probably wondering that, aren't you? Well, I've got one right here. I'm going to use this for a plate. I'm going to take these pieces of wood, make a nice little bed so that it doesn't get crazy. Fold this thing down, and that's going to be my plate right there. Let's take a look and see if that steak's ready. Oh yeah. Yep, it's set, ready to go. So there's my plate, there's my noodles. I've got my mayo. I don't know if you can see my face, but I've got my mayo, my steak, my noodles, and life is good. It's time to eat. That's excellent. I use soy sauce to soak my steak in. Man, that tastes excellent. That's really good. I've been waiting all day for that. had to adjust that camera angle because I felt like my head was getting cut off. Hello everybody, I'm just chilling. It's a beautiful night. I got my, sorry about that, I got my red light on my headlamp. I like the red lamp at night. It conserves battery energy. The 4 white LEDs is much brighter. I can see things a lot better, but the red works good. It has a long run time and I really like it. Gives me just enough light to see what I'm doing, you know, fetching wood or whatever I'm doing. I got a nice fire going. You know, this is what life's all about, people. It really is. You know, I see so many people living their life and they're just not happy. That's why it's so important to get out and do stuff like this. You know, live your life. Be happy. Put your priorities straight. Put things in order the way they should be. I'm not going to tell you what your priority list should be or what order they should be in. I'll just say it's a good idea to do it. For me, I have God first, family second, and everything else third. And I can sleep well at night knowing that. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the morning. Sweet dreams, everybody. Bye-bye. Good morning. I had a good night's sleep. My rest was great. I guess it's about time to get up. It's about 9 o'clock already. I slept real well. It's time for me to get up, break this camp down, and time to go home. So anyway, I want to say thank you everybody for watching. I hope you found some good useful information here. Hope you found the video somewhat entertaining. Please feel free to comment and subscribe, like, thumbs up, share, whatever you do. And as always, have a beautiful day.